They say 3 a.m. is the devil's hour, the moment when the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. Most people sleep through it. I used to be one of those people, until the knocking started. It started on a Tuesday. Nothing special about the day. I had worked late, eaten leftovers, and fallen asleep on the couch with the TV still on. That's when I heard it. 3 knocks. Slow. Deliberate. Like whoever was on the other side of that door had all the time in the world. I checked my phone. 3 a.m. Exactly. I told myself it was a neighbor. Maybe someone locked out. Maybe a drunk stumbling to the wrong door. I walked to the door. Looked through the peephole. Nothing. Just the empty hallway. The yellow flicker of the corridor light. The faint smell of something I couldn't name. I went back to bed and convinced myself it was a dream. The next night, I made sure to lock the deadbolt. Checked the windows. Told myself I was being paranoid. I was in bed by 11, asleep by midnight. Then, my eyes shot open. The room was ice cold. I could see my own breath in the dark. I grabbed my phone. 3 a.m. This time, I didn't move. I lay completely still under the covers, staring at the ceiling, heart slamming against my ribs. The knocking came again. Louder this time, more impatient. I crept to the door, looked through the peephole again. The hallway was empty, but this time, the corridor light was off. And in that darkness, just at the edge of where the light from under my door touched the floor, I saw 2 feet, standing perfectly still, just outside my door. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. I called my friend Marcus the next morning, told him everything. He laughed, said I was stressed, said I needed to get out more, but he agreed to stay over that night. We stayed up watching movies, lights blazing, making fun of the whole thing. By 2 a.m., Marcus was already asleep on the couch. I sat in the armchair, eyes fixed on the front door, arms crossed, trying to feel brave. At 2:58, I woke Marcus up. "It's almost time," I whispered. He groaned, sat up, rubbed his eyes. We both stared at the door. 2:59, 3 o'clock. Marcus went pale. He looked at me. I looked at him. Neither of us said a word. Then he stood up, walked to the door, and yanked it open before I could stop him. The hallway was empty. No one there, not a single soul. But the air that rushed in through that open door was freezing, and it smelled like dirt, like fresh soil, like a grave. Marcus turned to me with an expression I will never forget for as long as I live. "There's no one there," he whispered. Then, from somewhere deep in that dark hallway, we heard it. Not a knock this time. A voice. Low, wet, like something speaking through a mouthful of mud. "You should have opened the door sooner." Marcus slammed the door. We didn't speak for 10 minutes. He left before sunrise and never mentioned it again. I didn't stay in that apartment the next night. I drove 2 hours to my sister Dana's house and slept on her couch. Didn't tell her why, just said I needed a break from the city. I slept deeply that night. No knocking, no cold air, no voice. I almost felt normal again. Then at breakfast, Dana looked at me strangely over her coffee. "Did you go outside last night?" she asked. "No," I said. "I slept straight through." She nodded slowly, set her cup down. "That's weird," she said, "because something knocked on my front door at 3 a.m. The color drained from my face. "Did you open it?" I asked. She shook her head. "No, but I looked through the window." She paused. Her hands were trembling around her coffee mug. There was a man standing on the porch, tall, just standing there in the dark, head down. She looked up at me. "He was wearing your jacket." I left Dana's house that morning. I didn't tell her what was happening. I didn't want it to follow her too. I went back to my apartment. I don't know why. Maybe I needed answers. Maybe some part of me knew that running wasn't going to work. I sat in my living room all day, thinking, searching online, reading about 3 a.m., about hauntings, about things that knock. And then I found something. A forum post, old, from 7 years ago, posted by someone with no profile picture and a username that had been deleted. It described everything. The knocking at exactly 3 a.m., the empty hallway, the cold air, the smell of soil, the voice. The post said only one thing at the end. Whatever you do not ask who is there. Do not speak to it. And above all else, do not open the door on the 7th night. I counted back in my head. Tonight was the 6th night. I spent that night sitting in the center of my living room with every light on, a knife in my hand, and my phone dialing Dana's number just so I could hear a human voice. The knock came at 3 a.m. I did not move. I did not speak. I did not open the door. And after what felt like an eternity, the knocking stopped. The cold faded. The smell disappeared. Silence. I had made it to morning. I tried to leave the city again on the 7th night. I got in my car at 10 p.m., drove onto the highway, music loud, windows down, telling myself I would just drive until sunrise. At 2:58 a.m., my car died. Just stopped. In the middle of a dark road. No other cars in sight. Engine dead. Radio dead. Headlights dead. Phone, no signal. I sat there in the total blackness, watching the clock on my phone tick to 2:59, then to 3 o'clock. On my car window, I turned my head slowly. There was a figure standing outside the car. Tall, impossibly tall. Its face pressed close to the glass but hidden in the darkness, just out of reach of any light. It knocked again. And then it spoke. The same wet, muddy voice. "You've made me wait long enough." My hand moved to the door handle. I don't know why. I couldn't stop it. Like something else was controlling my fingers. The handle clicked. The door began to open. And then, my phone alarm went off. 3:01 a.m. The spell broke. I yanked the door shut, locked it. The figure was gone. The car started on its own. I drove until sunrise, and I did not stop once. That was 4 months ago. The knocking hasn't come back. Not at my apartment, not at Dana's house. Not on any dark road in the middle of the night. And I want to believe it's over. I really do. But last night, I found a note slipped under my apartment door. No envelope, no name. Just a folded piece of paper. I opened it. 4 words, written in something dark and wet that I refused to believe was blood. I'll knock again soon. Lock your doors tonight. Don't answer if it knocks. And whatever you do, don't look through the peephole. Because this time, it might be looking back. Knock. If you felt that chill, you know what to do. Hit subscribe, leave a comment with what you would have done on the 7th night, and check out our next story. Sleep tight.